Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino back here, and LeBron James apparently doesn't want to be an NBA head coach. I guess a reporter posed the question to him, and his answer really was, "I don't want to because I'll get blamed for every little thing." And it's kind of one of those things where, of course, LeBron has received extensive criticism in his NBA career, probably more so than most that we've ever seen, especially after the decision. But it's a question I think that is interesting to focus on is great players becoming head coaches. Now, I don't think that dynamic always works. We saw it with Michael Jordan. Now, he didn't coach, but really as a GM and a personnel person, he was not good. I mean, he drafted Kwame Brown. He has not done a good job drafting talent. And talent doesn't always see talent. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions people make sometimes. Just because you're a great player doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a great coach or be a great talent evaluator. Talent sees talent differently. They really do. Being talented at something doesn't mean you can always spot the same talent, if that makes sense. I think when you look at a guy like Kobe Bryant, it's the same thing. They are driven differently. They're built differently, and trying to teach somebody when you're so gifted, I think that's difficult to do. We saw Magic Johnson kind of like tinker with that for a bit, and it really did not work. So for LeBron James too, and the other thing you have to say is, what's your motivation? A lot of coaches, I think, are in it because they love it. They eat, live, and breathe the sport. They always want to be around it, and they just enjoy doing what they do. LeBron James is going to have a Nike lifetime deal. This is a guy who's never going to have to do anything else. I mean, unless he wants to. He's set financially for life. Some coaches, that's also the thing. That's how they make their living. That's all that they can do. They don't really have anything else that they could turn to. Now, a lot of coaches today can fall back on a broadcasting thing. We see with Tom Thibodeau, with countless other coaches. They will get an opportunity most likely if they can put together somewhat of a presence on the air. They will get an opportunity because they have the knowledge, and that is what we are attracted to. We want to hear the knowledge, the inside information, and those people have credibility about what they're talking about. But with that said, we go back to LeBron James for a minute. Looking at him, I think he's one of those guys who lives and breathes for the game. And for that reason, I think he'll always want to be close to it. But with a guy like LeBron, I think it's kind of like Derek Jeter, where Derek Jeter, of course, always would like to be around the game, but not necessarily from a coaching perspective. I think he's expressed the interest in ownership in some ventures like that. I think it's the same thing with LeBron. This is a guy who loves the game, has always said deep. I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, he's basically always doing something basketball related if he's not with his family. If it's watching a classic matchup on NBA TV with the Lakers and the Celtics, or watching other teams play basketball, his friends, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, he's always doing something basketball related. He lives and breathes for the game. It's why he has a genius level IQ for the game of basketball. With that, I think he'll always want to be close to it. I mean, we've seen it with Michael Jordan too. He tried to stay close to the game by being in a managerial position, drafting players, and that just did not work. He is now in the ownership position of it. But I think you have to always consider that these guys always are going to want to keep close to the game. With LeBron, with the amount of money he will make during his career and that he has made, he'll certainly be in a financial position to do so. And I really think that's a legitimate possibility because he's always been very outspoken about whatever it has to be about the state of the league. There was a time where it seemed like he would be interested in running for the Players Union president, but we all kind of knew. I think LeBron was very interested in it, but he's just too busy to be a player like that and to juggle all his responsibilities. He would just have no time for something like that. That's a role for a guy like a Derek Fisher, like he did serve for many years. A perfect role, a good player who kind of can also juggle that responsibility. LeBron just too busy to do something like that. But I think you look at him at the same time, and as the time kind of progresses, now he's still probably got another 4 or 5 elite years left in him. Maybe 10, 15 years down the road. I mean, again, you miss the game. Michael Jordan, when he made the comeback with the Wizards, a lot of people fault him for that, but I mean, you understand where these guys come from. They spend their entire lives playing this game. This game gave them everything that they have, and you miss it when you've been away from it. You always want to stay close to the game, especially when you have the passion for it. And I think that's why, especially in the NBA, sometimes you see in some sports, there's guys who are really talented and get by, and then once their careers are over, that's it. They did their thing. Now they want to move on to other things, but for a lot of these other players, it's difficult not to have that game in your life anymore. That's all you know for so long, and being away from it, they miss it. And I think for a guy like LeBron, he will figure out ways to stay involved with it. Of course, it also helps too. He has two sons who are going to be playing. One of his older sons, is very good. Dwayne Wade, his older son's very good. I mean, you look at a lot of these players; they have kids who are growing up playing the game as well. So he'll be able to focus on that, which I'm sure will be very, very enjoyable for him. But I thought it was an interesting kind of thing to come up because for a guy as smart as LeBron is, and as well as he sees the game, and as a coach, seeing the game is half the battle. You have to be able to look at it from a certain standpoint and communicate that to your players. Put them in positions in different ways than other coaches are. I think he could very well do that, but again, he has experienced so much scrutiny as it is. It's so difficult to be an NBA head coach in this league, especially when the expectations are very, very high for everybody. I just think it'd be more and more things people would try to throw at him. And for LeBron, I think he's kind of had enough of that throughout his career. He will most likely move into an ownership position, and don't be surprised one day if you see LeBron James as the sole owner of an NBA team. But until that time, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. I'll be back next time. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, on Instagram Jersey_Archino, and we'll be back very soon.